If you didn't hear, the adventure continued after you left. We decided to find the second waterfall, which we did well. It was so cool, and we were having such a good time that we decided to look for the mythic third one. Just over the next ridge was the war cry as we kept going higher and higher up the mountain. We were following deer trails onto some precarious slopes that we had no business climbing without professional gear. Hung over in just swimsuits, we climbed nearly flat-face rocks up and ridge over ridge with no water, anticipating this wonderful elusive lake that had been built up in our minds. Despite a traveler's warning that there was no lake up there, we would not give up. We went back and forth across the mountain at an altitude probably 3,000 to 5,000 feet. Finally we found the top of the waterfalls and relaxed for a minute. It was nice and overlooked an 800-foot drop. I was eager to get back to camp, knowing that this pool the size of a bathtub was the closest to a lake we would get. Dreading the walk back, Josh led us up and down and across treacherous terrain in snake country, where we kept finding signs of bear activity, including a very recently devoured deer carcass. We would think we were just about to our destination, and then it would drop off into an impassable canyon or gully. We were running out of energy and suffering from the effects of dehydration. Chelsea had a slight disc that kept hurting her. We were all running out of steam. I was light-headed and falling over, weary of every step over potential snake spots. While scaling the thin rim of one ridge, looking down on this 1,100-foot drop to my right, not knowing how much more of this I would need to endure, I laughed to myself out loud. Well, it's certainly an adventure. With one trail in sight, the only hope we had ended in another 1,400 to 2,000-foot drop-off into a super-wide canyon invisible to us from our prior perspective. Josh got to it and said, "We're fucked," and when I got there, I knew he was right. We sat at the very top of this super-scary apex of a ridge, flabbergasted. At that point, I wondered if I could just get choppered out for real, because I wasn't sure if I could make it down from here. The sun was quickly setting, and as the shadows stretched across the gully, I knew night time would prove intraversible settings. Josh took off and left us. I wasn't sure what he had planned, though I warned him that we shouldn't split up. He took off over an edge that I wanted absolutely nothing to do with. After sitting there for what felt like 20 minutes, completely hopeless, I suddenly spotted an area where, if I could just get to it, I could shimmy down into a ravine that looked navigable. The rocks were hot, and I had to man up and just do it, and hope there were no snakes. Honestly, it was tons of fun, and though slightly uncomfortable without water, I was enjoying every minute, especially the most fearsome parts when I lost hope and almost wanted to give up. We finally found our way down to a ravine where there was water. None of us hesitated to drink it after nearly 8 hours without a drop. We found a tic-tac-toe tag and were so relieved to see signs of other humans. Then I came across tubes, watering tubes. Someone had a pot operation out there, and we were really very nearby. I could smell the thick sweet weed pollen in the air. We were close to something we shouldn't be. We started hearing voices. I knew it was strangers, looking for us. They were making weird animal noises until they popped out of the forest ahead. They were the weed men. Thanks to Josh running into these guys before us and getting them buttered up, they were a real pleasure to deal with. They gave us water and a tour of their epic guerrilla-style acreage of pot land hidden under tarps. They apparently had hunted Josh down with a shotgun. They were disarmed by his hate cops knuckle tattoos. They were like, "Josh, yeah, he smoked us out." So funny. I love that dude. He totally talked these dudes into being friends even from gunpoint. Such a fun adventure. I want to cut this story short. After touring their potlands and getting a fistful of motor, just because Albert asked, they smoked us out, and the one dude led us back towards the trail, real sketched out about raised voices. They were obviously worried about attracting unwanted attention to their operation. Then the rescue helicopter came flying around looking for us. Apparently Josh made it to a phone to call in the air rescue. That kid leading us was so sketched out that he ran away into the woods. They lowered down a state trooper, who led us the rest of the way, where Josh had the rangers and fire department all waiting to greet us with bottles of much-needed water, which I slammed instantly. We were all so shocked about what an awesome ordeal that was, and how lucky we were to get back to camp just before dusk. The rangers said that no one ever climbed that high and that long, especially without any water or gear. We were just in swimsuits, with half a bottle of gatorade mixed with water. Only the rangers went up to the third waterfall, and that was only for rappelling training. What an adventure! What a great time I will always remember!